Hello and welcome to the 104th episode of the Brian Hornback Experience. Nobody is going to be a guest today. We are just going to talk about everything that's been going on in the world of Knox County and politics in general. Hold on while I get this light where I want it to be. This place has become a light fest. By the way, for those of you that don't know, this is my working office. It looks a little cluttered back there. It's a Johnny Majors football. Hey, good job, Balls, in beating Ball State in a season opener. That Baby Ruth hat is signed by Jeff Gordon back when he drove the Ford Baby Ruth car for Bill Davis Racing back in what we used to call the Busch Series. That's what is now the Saturday races for NASCAR. The little bear back there is that's a collectible. That is Jake Hess. For those of you that follow Southern gospel music, Jake Hess was the bass singer for Elvis Presley. Back in the day, was with a lot of Southern gospel groups. The yellow hat is a You Girl Walker Hayes autographed hat. This picture up here is the Knoxville skyline, given to me by my friend Kim Eisenberg. That right there is the infamous Kaz Walker punch, where he and a city councilman got into a argument that resulted in Kaz giving a punch. Of course, y'all met Kevin. He's the chief minion here at the BrianHornback.com operation. Of course, who can't go wrong with Groot? Then a couple of signs. I don't know if you've been able to read them or not, but that one right there honors my mother. It's somewhere in heaven. My mother is smiling down on me. I love you, Mom. That's for sure. Those of you that know me know that I am a mama's boy. My dad is still living, and he's awesome, absolutely awesome. And that one is for all my haters. That is underestimate me. That'll be fun. But anyway, this is episode 104. That gives you a little bit of tour of all these other signs. That one, and that one are all autographed by Granger Smith. Those of you that know me know that I wear a lot of Yee stuff. Yee is a lifestyle brand created by Granger Smith. The wife and I have met Granger at least twice. Met him once in Knoxville back in 2017, 2018, and then we met him again in May of this year in a meet and greet before his concerts here in Knoxville. He is my go-to guy with music, and follow he and his wife and his Lincoln London is the oldest girl, then Lincoln, and then they had River. River passed away due to a drowning accident, and then they had Maverick and his wife Amber. I follow them on their YouTube channel, The Smiths, and Granger's got a new album coming out this fall. I've got all of them. Actually, probably got them all stacked up right here. And then also, it's off the market now, but Yee Energy drink, still got a couple cans of that left. But anyway, that is a preview of The Office. Let's talk. It's episode 104. This is happening right after September. Right after September 1st, all the new office holders got sworn in. I was there. I recorded all the oaths of offices. Those are up on my YouTube page, on my Facebook page for BrianHornback.com. Spell that when you're on Facebook, spell that out, Brian Hornback, DOTCOM.com. All those YouTubes are on that BrianHornback.com Facebook page. If you are a friend of mine on Facebook, either on the Brian Hornback Facebook page or the Brian R. Hornback Facebook page, those were shared. But if you want a clear, concise, from beginning to end of the ceremony that was held at the Tennessee Theater on September the 1st, go to BrianHornback.com, check that blog post. I've got everything from the opening prayer of Pastor Darrell Arnold to the benediction by Pastor Darrell Arnold with a fantastic rendition of the national anthem. with a Pledge of Allegiance by a retired U.S. Air Force, and then the installation of office holders that includes their oath of office, including less than a 10-minute speech by Glenn Jacobs, which was his remarks. So it was very good. Not everyone that took office on September 1st is in there, because all the judges, the district attorney general, the public defender, all of them are sworn in before September 1st, because you have to have a continuation of service. And so there are only about 3 of the 5 general sessions judges that took a public oath of office. Sharm Allen took a public oath of office. Mike Hammond took a public oath of office. But Charles Susano, Eric Lutton, none of the circuit court judges, none of the criminal court judges, and a couple of the general sessions judges opted not to take a public office. By the way, Sharm Allen's shirt is on today. Anyway, all those are up. They were put up this morning, being September the 3rd. So those are there for you. Anyway, let's talk about what all's been going on. It's been a spell since I've been on. But let's talk about some things. First of all, let me say this. I'm going to do my very best. I've said this for about a year and a half. Do my very best to start putting out a podcast on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm going to do my very, very best. Even if that means that I need to record them on the weekend and put something out on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm going to do my very best. Let me say, we have an election coming up November the 8th. Early voting starts like on October 18th and runs through November the 3rd. I'm doing this off my memory, so if I'm wrong, do not blame me, blame Kevin, the head minion. But we do have an election coming up. I've sent out an invite to the Democrats and the Republicans who are on the ballot to be on the Brian Hornback experience. I was shocked that when I put out the email that 3 immediately jumped at the opportunity. And so we've already recorded and published Zeke Streetman, Mark Harmon, and Brian Lanigan. Zeke Streetman is running for state rep in the 19th district. Mark Harmon is running for U.S. Congress in the Tennessee's 2nd congressional district, which is the seat that Tim Burchett represents, and then Brian Lanigan is running for state senate in the seat that Richard Briggs serves. Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally had a Republican opponent. He won that Republican primary. He does not have a Democrat opponent. So we'll try to, if I can get the Lieutenant Governor on, I will. But at this point, it's I wouldn't blame him if he didn't, so to speak. But anyway, so the swearing-ins all occurred on September the 1st. Again, many of them were sworn in before that, but the public process is September the 1st. And so many of them got sworn in at the Tennessee Theater. The Tennessee Theater, I really thought would be fuller. Is that the word? I thought there would be a bigger crowd at the Tennessee Theater on September 1st than there was. But I think that, first of all, a lot of the employees that came were employees of those offices where there was a change. And also then close friends and family of the folks who were being sworn in. So the crowd was maintained about, I would say, 2/3 of the floor of the Tennessee Theater. No one was up in the balconies. And it was a good crowd. There was no wild objections. There was no insurrection. It matters who governs. That would be a red Solo cup from our Speaker of the House, Cameron Sexton. Everyone got sworn in. It was a typical swearing in. 2 years ago, there was a swearing-ins there at the Tennessee Theater. because of COVID protocols. And so it went off pretty flawlessly. So I think they thought that, hey, this worked pretty well 2 years ago. Let's do it again. So they did it again. I think it's probably a keeper, primarily because when I was sworn in 22 years ago to the school board, it was done in the main assembly room, and the place is packed because you got so many people that are trying to get into a room that seats about 300 or 400 people. At the Tennessee Theater, you can spread out, and so I think it's probably a good move, even if they were to decide to go to the Bijou Theater. Tennessee Theater is a little more grander, a little more nicer, so it makes complete sense why they do go there, provided the Tennessee Theater is available at that time, which typically September 1st. They probably aren't booking a whole lot of stuff because of football season starting up. So, you know, everything in Knoxville revolves around the University of Tennessee football schedule. So, you know, so there's some availability there. So as long as they can continue to keep booking there, I think it's a great home for the installation of elected officials. So let's talk about, put this Yee Energy back, because I don't intend to drink that anytime soon. Probably should have got Granger to autograph a couple of those when I saw him in May, but I had a whole bunch of hats that I wanted to sign. But anyway, let's get back. So swearing in went good, went well. So then at 1:30, so we were done by about, so the swearing in started about 10 a.m. Many people started getting there about 9:30, started at 10. We're out of there by 11:30. I went with my friend Bo to Yassine's Falafel House in the Walnut Building. If you've not been to Yassine's, you need to go. My buddy ordered the falafel wrap, I think it was. I always, for the most part, 99.9% of the time, I always get the gyro salad with extra gyro, pita bread, and the seasoned fries. Anyway, clearly, I ordered my dinner meal that I always order and forgot that I was eating lunch. Anyway, it all worked out. So then 1:30, the county commission met. Everyone in town suspected that Richie Beeler was going to continue a second year as commission chairman. It was expected that Terry Hill would become the vice chair. So let's talk about the current makeup of the commission. Daisha Lundy, Courtney Durrett, both Democrats, Kyle Ward, and Terry Hill, all are in their midterm of their first session. So they are, they've served for 2 years. They were elected in 2020, and so they are in their midterm of their first term. So more than likely, they would all four be running again in 2024. John Schoonmaker, Carson Daly are 2 years from their terms expiring. So I think John Schoonmaker, was appointed to 2 years, and then he's served now. He got elected and served 4 years. He got reelected and served 4 years, or has served 2 of those last 4 years. So both of them are term limited. So in 2024, if you live in the 5th Commission District, which is Southwest Knox County, which includes Farragut, and if you're in South Knoxville, then those seats will be up for election by someone new, because John and Carson are not eligible to run again. And then we come on over to the 8th District. That's Richie Beeler. He served for chairman for the last year. He just got elected 2 years ago. He was appointed to a 2-year, and then he got elected 2 years ago. So he's in the midterm of his first term. So he has another 4 years eligibility to run and serve another 4 years. Larson J. was just reelected. He was elected 4 years ago, was just reelected. And then the three newbies are Gina Oster in District 3. She replaces Randy Smith. Rhonda Lee in the 7th replaced Charles Bustler. And then Kim Frazier in at-large seat 11 replaced Justin Biggs. So they are now starting their first term. Remember, commissioners can serve 2 terms consecutively, so they can serve 2 4-year terms, provided they're reelected. So, with that being said, also I want to mention Justin Biggs, because I didn't mention him. He was sworn in on September 1st to be our Knox County trustee. He served about 15 years in the trustee's office, was elected 4 years ago as the at-large commissioner in seat 11. And so he served 4 years as commissioner. He'll now serve 4 years as trustee. He'll be eligible to run for re-election in 2026 to a second term as trustee, and then he'll be term limited. Okay, so the first order of business for the county commission is to elect a chairman. Sherry Witt, our county clerk, because she has 2 employees who are the clerks of the commission. She comes in and conducts the election of commission chair. And so that was the first order of business. So as it started at the 1st District with Commissioner Dr. Dacia Lundy. And so Dr. Lundy nominated Courtney Durrett, her colleague who serves from the 2nd District, who's also a Democrat. She nominated her for chair. Courtney Durrett passed. Gina Oster passed. Kyle Ward, who represents the 4th District, that's basically from Sequoia down to Bluegrass, he nominated Richie Beeler, who'd served the last 4 years as chairman. John Schoonmaker passed. Terry Hill passed. Rhonda Lee passed. Richie Beeler passed. Carson Daly passed. Larson J. passed. And Kim Frazier passed. So you had 2 candidates that were nominated for chair. Courtney Durrett, Richie Beeler. 1 Democrat, 1 Republican. 1 female, 1 male. Now remember, we had 3 women on the county commission before August 4th. You had Dr. Dacia Lundy, Courtney Durrett, and Terry Hill. The 1st District, the 2nd District, the 6th District. Democrat in the 1st, Democrat in the 2nd, Republican in the 6th. Now, in the last election, you had 3 other women who were elected. Gina Oster in the 3rd, she replaced Randy Smith. Rhonda Lee in the 7th, she replaced Charles Bustler. Kim Frazier, at-large seat 11, she replaced Justin Biggs. So now we have a 6-woman majority on the county commission. Now the thought was that Richie Beeler was going to return as chair, and that Terry Hill was going to become vice chair, because Justin Biggs had been vice chair for the last year. Every year, every September, the commission will reorganize and elect a chair and a vice chair. So Justin Biggs was vice chair last year. So the thought was that Terry Hill would become vice chair. I think Terry Hill wanted to be vice chair. I do not think that Terry Hill wanted to be chair. I have not asked Terry Hill that. I've not asked anyone in particular if Terry Hill wanted to be chair. That's just my thought from having watched county commission since about 1988. Anyway, so there was a motion that nominations cease, and they proceed to a vote on Durrett and Beeler. Clark Witt asked Ms. Durrett, if you're elected, will you serve? She said she would. Witt asked Beeler, if you're elected, will you serve? He said he would. They proceeded to a vote. So let's go down the row of votes. Dr. Dacia Lundy voted for Durrett. Durrett voted for Durrett. Oster voted for Durrett. Ward voted for Beeler. Schoonmaker voted for Beeler. Terry Hill voted for Durrett. Rhonda Lee voted for Durrett. Beeler passed. He didn't vote. He passed. Carson Daly voted for Beeler. Larson J. voted for Beeler. Kim Frazier voted for Durrett. At that point, you have 6 in favor of Durrett, 4 in favor of Beeler, 1 in favor of pass. Obviously, if you're not a rocket scientist, you can figure this out. 6 out of 11 is a majority. So Clerk Witt asked if the pass wished to vote. Beeler said he did, and he cast his vote for Durrett. So that gave 7 votes to Durrett, 4 votes to Beeler. Beeler did not vote for himself. He voted for Durrett. So it made it a 7-4 vote. So Courtney Durrett, the Democrat, was elected chair. Now, a lot of folks, let's keep going. So then it came up to vice chair. Terry Hill was nominated for vice chair. I'll have to look at my notes. I don't remember who nominated her. But Terry Hill was nominated. There was no other nominations for vice chair. She was simply elected by acclamation. So it was a 100% vote, all 11 votes for Terry Hill for vice chair. She became seated. They then proceeded to go through all the other committees. And at some point, I'll publish the makeup of all the committees. Cable TV Committee, Finance Committee, Insolvency Board, Industrial Development Board, all those different. The interesting thing about the Industrial Development Board was last year, it was Beeler and Biggs were chair and vice chair. Chair and vice chair automatically sit on the Industrial Development Board. And then there's one other commissioner from the commission that sits on the Industrial Development Board. Last year, Beeler and Biggs were chair and vice chair. Larson J. made the same argument last year that he made this year. This is going to be very short term because the Industrial Development Board is going to get wrapped up into the Chamber of Commerce, the Knox partnership, the Chamber partnership. But they went ahead and appointed Courtney Durrett to the Industrial Development Board. Now, this time it's Courtney Durrett, Terry Hill, and Larson J. again, when the Industrial Development Board came up, made the same argument this year that he made last year. It's going to be a very short term because it's going to get lumped into the chamber. So they did put Larson J. on this very short term stint on the Industrial Development Board. Good job, Larson. So that's the one board I remember off the top of my head. And I'll detail all the others later. So we go through, and I'm myself and a writer and photographer for the Knox Focus are the only media there. So I was able to get up that day, Thursday, within about 2.5 hours. I was able to drive home, get the story up. The video, if you want to watch exactly as I described it, it's on my YouTube page. And if you go to the most recent post on September 3rd, you'll, or actually from September 1st, you'll see that. So anyway, that video's up. You can watch that. You can watch it all go down because I video recorded it. And there's been a lot of stuff about it. There's been some spam texts that have gone out. Call Terry Hill, call Gina Oster, call Rhonda Lee, ask them why they voted for Democrat. Look, at the end of the day, being chairman of commission, being chairman of any legislative body is about who can run the best meeting, okay? It's not about partisan, whatever. It's about who can run the best meeting. What I've told people is, yes, I'm a Republican. I'm the state executive committee man for State Senate District 6. Yeah, it could be a bad PR move for the Republicans that, hey, a Democrat's chairing commission. End of the day, it really doesn't affect anything unless there's some stuff like what City Council is going to deal with next week. End of the day, it's not going to affect much of anything. But it's just good political fodder. As a political blogger for the last 18 years, hey, it's great for me. It was great for me to be the only media person video recording the meeting. Okay, so no complaints from me, but it doesn't change what the commissioners are going to vote on, the positions that are going to come before commission, and how they're going to vote on issues. It only becomes a political issue at the end of the day. And at some point, the commission has to be the commission. They have to run the county, and they have to work in concert with the county mayor to run the county. And that is ultimately what happens. In hindsight, which is 2020, had the commissioners nominated Kyle Ward or John Schoonmaker or Carson Daly or Larson J, could it have been different? Absolutely. There could have been, the problem that I saw was you had two choices. You had Courtney Durrett or Richie Beeler. Richie Beeler had taken a job in March or April of this year as the chief deputy to one of the fee offices. He had put out a letter saying that he was not going to seek the position of commission chairman. And I guess since he didn't vote for himself, he kept his word. Unfortunately, he didn't tell his other colleagues that he wasn't going to keep his word. Now, his friends will say, well, he voted with the majority. Well, I'm sorry, that's not what you're supposed to do as a representative of the people. You're supposed to cast a vote best reflects the views of your people. Now, maybe the people in the 8th District would have said, yeah, we want you to vote for Courtney Durrett. We don't want you to vote for Richie Beeler. We don't want you to vote for yourself. Maybe he did cast the best vote for his district and what his district wanted. Don't know. Anyway, end of the day, the vote's cast. Yeah, it's a bad PR move for the Republicans. Yeah, we've had worse PR moves. Yeah, we'll get through it. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Courtney Durrett will do a good job as chair. She'll do as good a job as any others. It's not the first time that a Democrat has chaired commission. Billy Tyndall and Tank Strickland have chaired commission. Diane Jordan was a Democrat that was a vice chair of the commission. Granted, those have been more than 14 years ago. But end of the day, she is the first woman chair of the commission and the first woman Democrat chair of commission. So there you go. Mayor Jacobs will, it'll be a little tougher job for him probably to work with a commission chairman that he's not that he doesn't have a relationship with. He had a relationship with Richie Beeler because they worked together for the last year. He had a relationship with Justin Biggs, who was vice chair, who's now gone on the trustee's office. So it's a learning curve for everybody. It's a learning curve for Terry Hill as vice chair. It's a learning curve for Courtney Durrett, who's chair. It's a learning curve for the mayor. It's a learning curve for the mayor's staff. But at the end of the day, the things that those of us need done in Knox County will get done. And with that, I've talked about 28 and a half minutes here on the Brian Hornback Experience, episode 104. Hope you've enjoyed this. Again, I promise that outside of interviewing candidates, we will get more repetitive. Not repetitive. We don't want to be repetitive. We don't want to repeat the same stuff. But we will get more consistent on episodes. So y'all have a great day. I'm going to let you watch these lights go off just to see if there's a big difference in lights. Because, hey, I'm all about, whoa, there we go. And then this one over here, there is a big difference. Hey, anyway, now you see there's a lot of lights here in the Brian Hornback compound. Y'all have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.